All right, everybody, welcome back. This is The End of the World with Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu, and today we are talking about the masterpiece that is the history of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, we'll be going over some of our favorite topics. This is our 100th episode, Bonanza Spectacular.
That's right.
We'll be making some predictions for the future in terms of the Trump admin, in terms of the Zoran mayoralty, in terms of the end of the world.
Sure.
And if we have time, we will also maybe talk about some of our favorite topics that we've covered over the...
Yeah, or least favorite, as the case may be.
Well, we'll be getting into that with our least favorite films, right? I mean,
yeah.
We have
of which there are many. I suppose it might have been more interesting to do our favorite. Are there 5?
5 that we liked?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, like is a relative concept.
Sure. Not hate would be a better approach to the ring.
Was Armageddon good? No. Did I hate it? No.
Sure.
There's a bunch that kind of fall into that category.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into all that, into the raucous celebration that will surely follow,
mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of news in the Trump world in the last week. All of it good for America,
as usual,
and for him. Yeah. So we've learned that Trump is creating a new class of battleship.
Yes, he's really getting into this strange fetish of naming everything after him.
Yeah, that's a theme that hits on our first 2 items. So he's got this obsession with also this golden fleet that he keeps talking about, almost as though he's like a Mongol emperor of China who's like preparing to conquer, Japan. He's like, my golden fleet will be ready to sweep Japan into my domain or whatever. That famously did happen. The Mongols got a big fleet, and then the divine wind protected Japan because the storm came and just...
I mean, I don't know how famous it is, but you seem to remember it.
I mean, Mongol heads know all about it. That's all I'm going to say. Those of us in the Mongol community, Michael.
Yeah.
No, my knowledge of the Mongols is nothing to write home about. I mean, I do love them, but
it's okay. We'll get them covered by episode 200.
Yeah, I guess we will eventually have to do a Genghis Khan episode,
absolutely,
or Genghis Khan, as we must now call him. So he's gonna name this new class of battleship. The funny thing to me is, like, a battleship has been an outmoded form of naval warfare for over a century, like basically since flight.
Sort of akin to a ballroom as a gathering era.
Yeah, it's almost like he's living in another century, right?
When it comes to this stuff, I think that is absolutely right, And is the ballroom going to be called the Trump ballroom? Surely.
Invariably, right?
Yeah. What's so good about these? They're just are they the best battleships you've ever seen, that you've ever heard of? And he's heard it from everybody, and you can never believe these battleships, like that type of thing.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the schematics yet. I don't know. I don't know if those have been published. Probably when building one's battleships, it's probably best to sort of keep some aspects of.
They're probably just kicking around some ideas on Signal before they go public.
Yeah, that would not shock me, to say the least. The other thing that he's done is he's renamed the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Memorial Center, which is a funny thing to have a memorial while you're still alive.
Yeah, and it's the art center so nice they had to name it twice type thing. Like, it's so awkward. It's just his name on top of Kennedy's.
Yeah, and that's like the official memorial for JFK too.
Yeah, and does it even say and?
I didn't see.
I think it might just say the Donald Trump, John F. Kennedy. I think it might. I don't know if it says and in the middle.
Well, allegedly, it was named by an act of Congress. So in theory, only Congress has the authority to rename it.
Well, the question we have, and we'll get to this later in the episode too, is this the moment that Congress finally stands up?
And we've all been waiting, right? I mean, that's...
this would be the kind of thing that, like, Hakeem Jeffries stands in front of Congress for like 74 hours talking about, you know.
Yeah, not the effort to strip 40 million people of health care. This is
Right.
what we gotta get worked up for. Also, more Epstein files have come out. They so far do not contain any of the revelations we were all hoping for.
Stunned to hear it.
What a shock.
Stunned. I figured the government would have fallen by now from everything I was hearing in the lead up to this.
Did you see that New York Times story about the origins of Epstein's money?
No.
It's really good. It's worth a look. It confirms something that I've long suspected. You know, there's been a lot of, how did Epstein get so rich? He must be blackmailing people. Was he a Mossad agent? Was Israel giving him money? Yada yada. No, it seems to be the answer. He's just a prolific Wall Street scam artist, like so many.
I thought you were just going to say really, really good at trading.
Well, he's really, really good at manipulating people. It seems like his specialty was going to, you know, he got his foot in the door at Bear Stearns, R.I.P.
Yeah.
May its memory be
I'm
eternal.
actually over at Bear. I like the idea.
Well, he got his foot in there because he met someone at Dalton where he was a teacher. You know, Dalton's one of the prestigious Upper West Side schools in New York. Maybe Upper East Side. I forget where it is.
One of the uppers, that's for sure.
Yeah, my Dalton alum friends who listen to the show are gonna call me in a rage. How dare you? But regardless of where it is, he met a parent who, you know, was like, "Hey, this Epstein guy is really smart. He's got really good with the numbers, and he's you know, gregarious. What's he wasting his life away here at Dalton?" And so he set up a meeting with these bigwigs, and that got him in the door. And he was there for a few years. Believe it or not, he abused his expense account while at Bear Stearns. Shocking news. And
real tragedy, because the rest of his track record was so spotless.
Yeah.
To see him failed in such a manner is devastating.
He also, you know, he was only there for a few years, but he made enough contacts that he went out on his own. I think he left under a kind of cloud where he had a relationship with one of the head guy's daughters, and he schemed and manipulated his way.
This sounds a little more like Epstein than I know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she was of age, but
got that then.
It's it just seems like, you know, he just manipulated one guy, made all these promises about various deals to people, got investments, turned money. He wasn't doing anything overtly criminal, but, you know, everyone who's super rich does stuff that's morally shady all the time. And it seems that Epstein is basically no different than your run of the mill.
But so what's in the new release? I saw just pictures.
A lot of photos.
Mostly Clinton, it seems.
A lot of Clinton photos. Weird. I wonder why those were foregrounded in the release.
Yeah, maybe they should impeach Clinton. Finally get around to it. No, wait, sorry.
Oh, wait, they already did that. 30 years ago. But no, the thing about it that I thought was, you know, there was this one incident where they uploaded a photo that was like Epstein's desk with the drawers pulled out, presumably taken by an investigator while going through his things. And there's a bunch of photos.
We're going to get to the bottom of this,
yeah.
he says.
All sorts of photos of him and Ghislaine, him and the Pope, him and whoever, you know. Yeah. And then in the drawer, there's one photo of him and Trump that's like a printed out from a Photoshop kind of standard photo. And that photo, I think, was the only photo of Trump to be in the drop. Mysteriously vanished from the website. Yeah. And they issued a statement being like, Epstein victims were clearly visible in some of those photos. We had to take them down. And then, you know, people had obviously saved it already. And
it seems to me that it's quite clear that their biggest concern is protecting the victims, right? I think
certainly that, and not protecting
the fine rank and file over at the FBI have one job, and that is it seems. Yeah.
Well, and Todd Blanche, who's the guy who's kind of running point on all of this, he's the guy who met with Ghislaine prior to her being transferred to, you know, the cushy Club Fed situation. He is, you know, on the record as saying we will not be redacting any information related to President Trump. So, I mean, you can go to the bank with that. I mean, that's his word is golden, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
He was Trump's, personal attorney prior to becoming a senior official at the Justice Department. But that's just,
I mean, this is part of the Trump admin segment, but why don't we just address it now? What do you think is going to happen the year 2026 vis-a-vis the Epstein files?
My best guess would be nothing.
Really?
Yeah, I think that there will be a continued trickle, and maybe there'll be investigations of some Dems, Bill Clinton.
So eventually it goes away. How?
Right. I mean, let's just transition right now into our predictions for the future of the Trump administration segment. I say that it'll somehow go away, or at least be marginalized by the MAGA base in such a way that they no longer think it's worth thinking about. Now, how?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that sort of goes to one of the things that we had talked about before in the notes, that I think that if that's true, I think that would be part of, to marginalize something like this. Obviously, Marjorie Taylor Greene's like a good example of this, right? That has to be some sort of element of a purge of the most vocal opponents or proponents of releasing whatever information they claim or think might be in here. And that's why I think that the most hopeful I can be about the world right now, this is as hopeful as I can get, I do think that the Trump 2028 thing is not possible. I really do think that the people in the party understand the sort of degree to which Trump has deteriorated already.
Sure.
And the idea of him not only running again, another election, doing this type of thing on the heels of what is no doubt going to be a catastrophic next 3 years, and then being the president again at his age and with his current state of mind. I just think there's this element that people, opponents of Trump, and I wouldn't even use the left, but just opponents of Trump.
Sure.
There is a little bit of a boogeyman element here that sort of he will never be felled. And like, would he do 2032? And so once you get to that point, like, pretty preposterous to think he would do 2032, then like, okay, well then what does that mean about the actual next election? And what I think is that one of the things that could keep the Epstein stuff alive, and again, I don't know if it means any sort of impact, but whether it goes away, I guess is what I'm questioning, is that as we turn into the midterms, which then turn into the next general, I can see a very real, you can already sense it, right? A sort of power struggle emerging in MAGA and by extension, the GOP. And this, I think, could be a sort of dividing line where somebody who's going to make a national run is going to pick this up and run with it. And for example, like if Vance continues his distance from it, right? Could it get more complicated for Vance if he plans to be the president? That's how I sort of see the next few years actually unfolding, is that
someone uses the Epstein thing to take down Vance, for instance.
Well, or just like that they sort of understand that Trump's excesses are going to continue, and however bad they get is tragically still very much up for debate. But that, even coherent parties, right, and who are realizing the path of succession or future election, right, they have at times very ugly transitional phases. I mean, think about Hillary and Obama, right?
Sure.
Not that the Democrats were a good example of it, but it's not always smooth no matter what when something ends. And these people are absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is covered up by his strongman behavior.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
But the bench is absolutely out of control. And once they have to come to the forefront, whether it is Tucker Carlson versus Ben Shapiro, versus JD Vance versus Nick Fuentes, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's quite combustible.
That's right. I think, did you see that JD Vance spoke at the Turning Point America Fest?
Mhm.
And
He gave out some great news.
yeah,
Did you hear
that
about
is
this?
white people don't have to apologize anymore
Here I have been
in America.
going around with my head down, just apologizing. Today, no more.
It's quite
Like, what
it's quite
planet are these people
well,
on?
that's what I'm saying. It's quite amazing the sort of boogeyman or bogeyman, however you prefer to say that they've managed to turn uh DEI slash identity politics into, right? Like,
Yeah.
as if in the Obama era, like as if Obama was not constantly triangulating between
Right.
identities,
That's right.
was never like looking to marginalize white people
Mhm.
overtly at all. Was in
Arguably
fact
to his detriment.
agreed. He would often say things like, you know, my mom was white or whatever, right? Like, I mean, he was always
Well, or just something more like the basic through line of his political philosophy.
like some sort of bootstraps nonsense.
No liberal, no conservative America.
Oh yeah.
You put everyone around the kitchen table, and basically we're all the same.
Just a sort of John Meacham bullshit.
No, my man.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's Vance is trying to do a similar thing with the Republicans in that he refuses to condemn Fuentes.
Yep.
But also is like trying to not alienate. You know, he's like doing this weird thing where he's trying to have it both ways, where he's like, no, Nick Fuentes is welcome because I'm in favor of a Big Ten, which also means that my wife, who's Indian, is welcome. And it's like, buddy, those two things are incompatible.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
also, like, again,
you can't just ignore this thing.
This is part of what I'm talking about in terms of the predictions of how this goes, is that the Vance is kind of the perfect example for this, which is that you do have to stretch yourself beyond the point of credulity, right?
Yeah.
And that also, like, Trump and being in Trump's orbit also just masks the fact that he's not a likable person.
No, he's detestable.
Right. And so now he's just bootlicking as often as he can to basically try to like keep the Trump momentum going, right, beyond 2028 if Trump doesn't run. And the truth is that, like, you know, I hate to do this because I'm not comparing these two people as individuals at all, obviously, but this is a very banal example.
Sure.
But when Alex Ferguson, Manchester United's manager, who won, you know, was the most dominant English league soccer manager of all time, when he left, right, they thought that the club would continue to be great and that it would dominate, sort of really delusionally refusing to admit how important he was.
Well, just kind of like
functioning of the whole thing.
Sort of like with the Yankees. Like, we're the Yankees. Like Joe Torre or whoever doesn't matter.
That's right.
George
exactly
Steinbrenner doesn't matter. It's the Yankees that matter. Right.
Right. But after that, after he's gone, you realize the whole structure doesn't work, that it's all sort of patched together by this force of personality. Yeah. And that's where I see this year, even really starting this year, because it is going to, like, where do you send these national figures during the midterms? And how do you deal with the affordability crisis and the unpopularity that is looming? Like, how do you actually do this?
Well, Trump's strategy is to just say that it's not real.
Well, sure. But like,
so does Vance, but what I'm getting is, does Vance contradict Trump? Does he? Because at some point,
no,
this is another one of my things, is that at some point a tension or a wedge is going to have to emerge between Vance and Trump if Vance is going to run. Because another thing I put up here is, I said that I think Trump will attempt in some way to run in 28, and that this will kind of create a similar, and probably fail because it is blatantly unconstitutional and illegal. And I don't think even this Supreme Court is not going to just be like, no, it's fine. I think basically this will replicate the division between Harris and Biden that emerged, or actually failed to emerge, that more than, well, I mean, there are many problems with Harris's campaign, but the fact that she was not allowed to put any space between her and Biden is the thing that just utterly sunk her. Right? So if Vance is hamstrung by Trump in a similar way, say, all right, Trump keeps talking 28 until, say, through the midterms. And then, Trump's sundowning more and more, whatever. It becomes clear that this is not optimal. And Vance is the one who's trying to step forward. Can he put that distance between himself and Trump without incurring Trump's wrath? Right?
Yeah, I mean, probably
JD
not.
is very disloyal. He's a very disloyal guy. Just like
that's right.
you could just see how
because it can turn on a dime. especially if he is even like pretending he's running again, right? If he like, or he's convinced himself.
That's sort of what I'm getting at. People have made a lot of the kind of parallels between Trump and Biden that are emerging. As you know, Trump gave that incoherent speech that you told me about. You texted me saying, "Hey, we're going to war with Venezuela." And I said, "Oh my God!" I thought this. When I saw that, I was in Midtown going to a play. I thought that the speech had already happened and that this had already been announced. And then I started looking it up and I said, well, wait, what? But I think
the speech touched less on Venezuela than the affordability stuff, but the Truth Social was a sign of like true insanity. We're going to go get the land.
And Congress also authorized or failed to authorize a bill that would rein in Trump's power, right? Like they tried to say, hey, actually, we are Congress. We get to say when we go to war. And that failed. Congress is like, no, we are not.
Classic good job, good effort.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing is I have on my list is that at some point the Supreme Court is in a similar boat to Congress. Is going to have to like say no to something major that Trump wants, right?
I mean, ideally.
But it's just like they've rubber stamped so much stuff. Like he's immune from all prosecution. He's yada yada, right? It's like at a certain point, someone on the Supreme Court is going to be like, "Well, wait a minute, Donald Trump's actually like not going to be president forever."
That's right,
right? And so just the prospect of a Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom coming in with all these unfettered powers is going to give Roberts and Kavanaugh and all of them.
Right. And I think that's what I basically, the main through line for me of starting in the next year is that, unless we are truly in like that real hellscape timeline where somehow Donald Trump is president again, right? Just leaving that aside for a second, then like there is a dose of reality, even for people who have appeared truly insane, just from a purely opportunistic political calculation that doesn't mean the country gets suddenly healthy or what have you.
Oh no.
But just that things get more difficult for this group in all of its forms. And that's like another thing that I put down was, and this is one of the things that really concerns me, is that unless there is some fight back of this executive power, it's also that the Democrats have a tendency, right, to like one of their major political strategies when they're not in power is to really not fight some of the terrible things that get unleashed.
Right, with the logic being that, well, then the consequences will fall back on the
so
Republicans.
whether it's like going to the immigration detention centers and like taking the photos and trying to get like, look how bad everything is.
AOC crying at the border wall.
That's right. Or in this case, this current case, the not managing to extend the subsidies of the Affordable Care Act. So you don't even have health care. Like that's a really good way to motivate people to vote for Gavin Newsom, right? And
I'm sure as soon as Gavin's in there, that those subsidies will be right back in, right?
Like, let's say that the Democrats make some inroads in the midterms. It's hard to see they will do worse, right?
No, they're going to do fine, I think.
Right. It will be fascinating to see if they once again do this calculus, sort of similar to what they did with like thinking in 2003 that they're kind of letting Bush bury himself. And then they can run against him and be like, wow, what a chaotic 4 years.
We're the anti-war party, remember? Even though we all voted to authorize the war, right?
Right. And then like we run Kerry and he comes out and says reporting for duty in uniform. Yeah. And like, so that part to me is going to be something to sort of monitor, because on the other side of things, the Democrats, there are at least whispers, which will lead us into our next topic, right? Sort of headlined by Zoran of this insurgency on the other side, sort of akin somewhat to the Tea Party, right? Where now the Democrats have to figure out how they can run nationally in a time when people can't afford to buy food.
Yeah. All right. I think that's pretty good for Trump predictions. You have one ancillary prediction, which is that Chuck Schumer will lose.
Yes. I need to believe that, because frankly, I'm not sure I can get up in the morning if I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, seems like it's over. Seems like it's over for Chuck, though.
Yeah, I think AOC can defeat him at this point.
Yep, me too.
So Zoran predictions. Why don't we check on those? This can be a little shorter, I think, just because a little more niche. If you don't live in New York City, why would you care? I think something I saw the other day is, the New York Times ran this cover story about affordability and how it's been this winning issue. The whole article is about like Mickey Sherrill and like Alison Spanberger. And then like 8 paragraphs in, they're like, oh, also Zoran Mondani. And I'm just like, whoa, you're at it again. So I think they're going to, whatever happens, anything good he accomplishes will be minimized by the centrist mainstream media.
Of course. And then anything bad that happens or that doesn't work will be, sent to high heaven.
Amplified, right? I think he's going to achieve some of his stated goals, but obviously not all of them. Maybe the free buses, maybe the city-owned grocery stores. I don't know what it'll be per se.
I mean, it seems like the pilot project of the grocery thing should be able to happen.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like
to me, I put that ahead of the buses.
Yeah. Communist Crete, Michael. I don't know if we want to allow that in our city, right?
Honestly, all too familiar, Stu.
Yeah.
All too familiar. Now in this city, for those of you listening who aren't here, it's getting pretty scary.
Yeah. There's a lot of like red capped, Jacobins, shall we call them? They're sort of like carrying around little mini guillotines.
That's right. The type of thing that CNN doesn't want to show you wherever you are.
Well, especially now that they're going to be owned by a pro-Trump oligarch of some form. So another thing I said for Zoran, there's going to be some kind of stupid AstroTurf scandal that leads to a whole hubbub of people saying, we knew this would happen, pointing fingers, but it won't work. It'll just kind of reveal the emperor having no clothes as far as the leaders of the mainstream Democratic Party go.
I think that's right.
It's a pretty safe prediction, right?
Yeah, I mean the attempts are, I'm sure, already underway.
Just like someone's in a lab, like sewing together some Frankenstein's monster
with like the Charlie Day from
It's
Always Sunny board behind him, like trying to figure out
where does he went to this high school, which was associated with this serial killer or whatever.
I think that as Zoran's sort of greater ambitions become clear, right? And this is sort of similar to AOC, at least in terms of the energy, which is not like a dissimilar phenomenon between the two of them that happened in terms of like AOC's beginnings, right? Yeah. I do have some real concern that we're going to get some serious watering down again. And I think that it will be very interesting to see if once again that remains politically manageable, or, if it's like, eventually can you blow the house down type thing, and where people eventually are just like, no, man, I'm sorry. These are the things you said. And now you're not doing this stuff.
Yeah. That's right. I think that's right. The last question for Zoran that I had was, will he step up to run for AOC's seat if she takes on Schumer? And
so what positions is he able to run for? He just can't be president?
He just can't be president. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
or will he run for Senate in place of AOC? I have a hard time imagining that happening.
Would you rather him be senator sooner than stay the mayor of New York? Where are you on that?
No, I think he should serve his full term at least, and probably be reelected, ideally. Before
he's young enough, a couple terms before he
33.
Goes. Yeah, exactly.
It's.
Although the flip side of that is like if you
get the momentum now.
Not many mayors of New York leave in with a guard of honor.
That's right. That's partly why. That's partly what I was thinking in putting this question on here.
If it is a situation where the writing's on the wall and whatever forces have managed to sort of cut off his efficacy, right? Does it make more sense while he still remains popular enough to sort of move on? That like, again, that's not for next year at all, but it is a very interesting part to consider when you start hearing the ways that maybe Zoran will start speaking, even as recently as soon as January.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep an eye on it. All right, let's talk about some of the highs and lows of the pod. We've done 100 episodes, which I think is quite amazing.
We've done 99. This is the 100th.
This is the 100th. I mean, we're in the process of doing the 100th.
Yeah, maybe we should have done the Bonanza Spectacular at the 101st to celebrate the 100th.
No, I think this can be like a self-reverential celebration.
Okay. Okay.
This is enacting what it is celebrating. I don't know. So I thought, look back over some of the highlights and lowlights. Let's start with least favorite movies. All right. We've done a lot of movies. I think I have a list. If anyone's interested, I did a list on Letterboxd of all of our movies. And it's pretty up to date. It's
pretty bleak.
I mean,
I think I'll come out and say right now that it wasn't planned, but I genuinely think that my least favorite movie that we've covered is actually I Am Legend, which is the most recent movie we did.
I think that was the hardest one for me to get through somehow. And it's like it's not that long, but there was just something so depressing and empty about it.
I would say it's even more empty than it is depressing.
Well,
I would say that it couldn't conjure up any feeling in me other than every now and then scrolling down to see how much time was left.
Yeah, I was like pausing it and being like, is there a cricket match I could be watching? It's just like, is there like a hurling tournament happening in Ireland that I'm missing out on?
And I would say another one that sticks out to me, and I don't know if I registered complete hatred for the movie at the time. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but as time has gone on, in the moments that I am unfortunate enough to think about the new Nosferatu, I have to say it really irritates me as a movie now that I think about it. I don't understand why it had to exist if it was going to be done in the way it was. It felt utterly pointless.
I didn't have that on my list, but I remember scrolling over the sort of the episode being like, oh wait, because I mean the episodes when we started out the pod, the episodes had the title of the topic, which on some level is fine. It's like, oh, we're doing this. Like I think the first 15 or so episodes do that. Yeah. And then I started to use titles from evocative song lyrics and occasionally poems that obliquely kind of get at the topic, which is I think better. Especially because it leads to people searching for those songs and accidentally finding our episodes. It's great.
A little behind the curtain for everybody.
I mean, I don't think that's a big source of listeners, but maybe
5 to 7 a week, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. In any case, it makes it a little bit harder looking back. I'll be like, filled with time's dead flowers. What the hell is that? I mean, as soon as I see the icon I made, I know immediately, right? I'm like, oh, it's Nosferatu or whatever. Yeah, Nosferatu is one that I thought about putting on, but I was like, is it that bad? It's not. But you're right. It is. It's a movie that I have absolutely no desire to ever rewatch.
Yes, I was looking at your list and was also enraged by the titles on that too, to be fair. But I think that in the final analysis, if somebody sort of like tied me to this chair and like made me watch, I would say that I would ask for Looper before I would ask for Nosferatu.
Brutal. Wow. I mean, I would too. At least Looper has like a warmer atmosphere.
Yeah,
like there's a few settings, like
that's right.
They're in that diner, they're out in that field. Nosferatu just
I also had Blade Runner, which, to be honest, I was surprised didn't make it on your list. But then, obviously, when I do go through your individual 5, I mean, it's atrocious work from all involved.
Well, I mean, for me,
I think I hate Blade Runner in commensurate with its sort of role in the zeitgeist.
It's esteem. It's esteem as
nobody. Yeah, nobody is like, oh my God, you don't like Civil War?
Yeah.
You're such a moron. But if you come out and say like, I'm not with Blade Runner, you'll get a lot of blowback from people.
I mean, here's what I'll say about Blade Runner. I read the book the week we watched the movie, and the book is much better than the movie.
Well, yeah.
But I actually, the book is like much more interesting. Like we got to do an episode on the book Blade Runner at some point in the next 200. I didn't put it on because there are the visual elements that I think have just been so monolithically influential.
Yeah.
And just the idea of the uncertainty of the android, whether it is an android, is such a prolifically, topos. So I didn't put it on that, but I did hate Blade Runner 2. I've seen it a bunch of times, and this time I was just like, man, this movie sucks.
Yeah, now that I'm just staring, I'm being forced to continue to stare at these titles. I really, really, really couldn't stand Civil War, man.
I hate it. A lot of friends have tried to redeem Civil War for me. They're like, no, Civil War is good.
Not possible. Don't talk to me.
I'm just like, I fucking hate that movie. That movie is an ideology-free bullshit, centrist, neoliberal piece of garbage.
Politics are horrible. The story is horrible. It captures
the veneration of photojournalism. Yes. I mean, it's
Kirsten Dunst, right?
Yeah. I
love her. I love her.
She's great.
It's a monstrosity.
Kaylee Spaney is great. The younger photographer, a great actress. I like her in all the things she's in. Horrible movie.
And I think one of the things this might be a really, really minutia thing and self-absorption thing. So bear with me.
Sure.
But there are certain types of movies that I get more angry that they're not good, and it makes me hate them worse when it's like, this is an idea I really want to see done.
Yeah. And this is
the treatment it gets. That's just sends me over the edge.
This is
you can only make so many movies like this with this sort of budget and tone.
I still remember seeing the trailer for it and being like, this looks great. I can't wait.
Of course.
Oh my God, they're storming Washington, D.C. That's great.
Yeah.
Show me more. And then, the last one on here is just War of the Worlds, which I just hated.
Sure.
The Tom Cruise Spielberg one. I just couldn't. Another one where I was just pausing, look, is there some grass growing or paint drying that I can watch instead? And it's a better movie, I would say, than I Am Legend. It's Spielberg. I mean, there's better choreography. There's the plane crash set. Yeah. There's better aspect, but just dreadful. All right, moving forward. What are the?
I think we should save the Ways the World End to the end of the episode, since that is
okay.
I think we take a little break here and just, one of the things that did sort of create a bit of a hubbubaloo. Is that the saying?
Hullabaloo.
Hubbubaloo. Is that what I said?
Hullabaloo.
No, I know that it is now.
But you said hubbubaloo, which is
I said hubbubaloo,
which is hubba baloo.
I think I got the word wrong because I was quite rattled by some of the blowback from a few. One of my favorite things, probably my favorite run on the show so far, was the small intro series to Brief History of the Afterlife. Right.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites as well.
Which real heads will know was our original idea for a podcast, A Brief History of, and then we would start with the afterlife. And I think we're going to do medicine maybe as the second season, do a little bloodletting episode and stuff like that, which I'm sure we'll get to eventually. But I would throw in some hypotheticals. We also, from time to time, what was the first one? It was the Mel Brooks, right?
Yeah. One of our most popular episodes.
Yeah, and so every now and then I would put in a hypothetical just for a little color.
Defending your life. Yeah.
And I wanted to run a couple by you, just in celebration of the 100th.
I love the hypotheticals. And even if they were rage inducing for some of our listeners, some of our devoted listeners, I think that's
it's
fine.
Also it's like I don't know, they're stupid, or that I don't quite understand.
No. You don't have to defend. You don't have to defend yourself. It's good engagement.
So let's start with one that is not about the afterlife, since that really seems to set some people off. So this one I love. And I have some thoughts here, but I really want to hear your answer to this as a very a musician yourself.
Sure.
Here it is. Would you rather be allowed to listen to one album every day? Okay.
Uh-huh.
But you have to listen to that album every day. Or never listen to music ever again.
So, okay. So you have to listen to one album. Can you listen to other music beyond the one album?
No.
Oh, so you have to pick one album that's the only thing you're allowed to listen to?
We can do both of those.
Okay.
I think, but to start with, let's go. You can choose one album, right? But people always say, like, if you didn't bring one album to a
Desert Island Discs. Yeah.
So, like, let's start there just to build this out. So, Stu, you have to go to a desert island and you can only have one album.
Would I choose that or never listen to music? I mean, obviously, yes, I would choose listening to the album and that I would have
every single day.
Yeah.
To me, that is absolutely nuts. I could not imagine.
Just once every day?
Every day. Let's say
it's not on all the time.
God willing, you're about, what, halfway through your life, right?
Knock on wood.
Like, you know, as we all do. You're talking about how many days?
Thousands and thousands.
12 to 15,000?
Yeah, something like
that. Okay. So give me the album, okay?
All right. I would choose My Bloody Valentine, Loveless.
You're telling me that somewhere around 7,771st day in a row that you've had to listen to that, it would be more pleasurable than the possibility of not listening to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I cannot understand this.
I mean, Michael, there's 24 hours in the day. The album's like 43 minutes
it's
long.
It's not about how long it is. It would be like water torture.
I think you fail to understand how addicted I am to certain behaviors. Like, I have used the Duolingo app 3,100 days in a row. This actually is making
a little more sense to me as someone who also has a few addictions.
So if I just have to listen to that album, it's 40-something minutes long. Whatever, it's a great album. It's weird enough, and it's I think
first of all, I think you ruin your enjoyment of the album. So you would take the
right,
one,
but it's like that or nothing.
So here's where I come down on this. I certainly, if you're talking about an album with lyrics,
yeah, I mean,
I would never do it.
This one has this has lyrics, but you can't really hear them. They're kind of a
there would be no circumstance under which that type of music would be something I could possibly do every day. I would rather. I know that if I did do what you were saying, there's eventually I would be like, please, can I please not listen to the album?
Do you know what Loveless sounds like?
I don't think it matters what.
No, it does matter because I did not pick an album by the Beatles. I did not pick an album by Radiohead or an album that has songs. Like Loveless is an album that sounds like a force of nature. This makes more sense to me. It's like a washing. It's like listening to the ocean, but it's feedback. And I think there are like differences.
That's as close as I can get, actually, I think, because I think that like
I also didn't choose jazz because every solo would become so rote, you know? This is something that's just like, it sounds like the churning. It sounds like dinosaurs screaming at certain moments.
Right. I think I would do like a soundscape, but I'm not sure if that's like an album per se, you know, at least in the way I'm sort of defining it for this hypothetical. But okay, I would go with silence. I think it's the much safer choice. Because there's plenty of other media to enjoy, plenty of other art.
Yeah, but that's something that's going to have music in it. So can you just not hear the music on your favorite movie? Like,
that's an interesting question.
It's like,
so like, yes, I think
so. The music is actually just you know it's there, but you can't hear it.
Exactly. This is a big problem, right? So now you can't watch movies.
So as you're watching like Cruel Intentions, you can't hear Bittersweet Symphony in the background.
I think you might be right. I think because then it's like, what can you listen to? Okay, so movies are gone. They're out.
You can watch them. They just don't have the sound in them.
You can't have the sound on anymore.
Well, no, you can hear the dialogue, but it's like a psionic block prevents.
Right. Okay. So there's no. Okay, I think I could do that.
It'd be pretty weird, right?
I'm coming around more to your side now that I do think that through, though. Let's move on to the second one,
please.
Okay. Would you prefer to create whatever afterlife you wanted? Okay. Or would you prefer that it remain mysterious, exists, and you get to partake in it, but you are not the creator of it? And so now you're taking the chance of it could be anything, or the safety and, you know, apparent, like, sort of maybe echo chamber joy of all of your wildest dreams and desires and whatever setup you would want.
This is a weird one because on the one hand, you don't have much experience in creating afterlives, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you have to make this, I'm assuming this is like something that happens when you die, like St. Peter or whoever appears and is like, well, Stu, here's your two choices.
What do you want? And you say like mini golf, for example.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, that's not an afterlife. Just
I'm saying you might, right? That's something, and they would build you a mini golf.
All right. I'm going to go with the pre-existing one.
I would also go with the pre-existing.
Because I think I trust in whatever divinity or energy source or whatever.
Me too.
I think that's going to have a better track record than my off the cuff, because maybe I've just been hit by a bus or something.
Yes.
I haven't had months of planning on my deathbed. What? I haven't had like the architecture of the afterlife.
So you're more comfortable with a slight risk, but whoever has created it.
Well, and also presumably all my friends, if friends exist in the afterlife, and family or whatever, will be in that afterlife as well, right?
Oh, we don't know. That's
we don't know, but I mean, there's more.
That's the risk you're taking. Now, if you could create whatever afterlife you wanted, Stu, you could guarantee I'm there, man. You could be like, what I do know is Michael.
Wherever Michael Terry is there.
That's right.
That's nice.
I think that what it comes down to for me is that on this plane, it's been a great burden to try to create things, and I think I want to just be done with that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want it to keep creating. You know.
Okay.
Second, this is the last one. Okay, this one, I don't even know if I have mine yet. Everyone always wants to know, okay? Everyone always wants to know, like, if you could have dinner with anybody from history, what would your dinner look like? You know, all that stuff.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Fine, perfectly fine. But it's never in the reverse. So I want to try this one. If you could only ensure, so you have some sort of like black ball, beats them all type thing. You got 3 of these things. You can only ensure that you would never have to speak to 3 people total in the afterlife. So think about that. Anyone else you may have to speak with, both from your life and from outside of your life.
Sure.
Right? You can only strike 3 people from the list. Who would those 3 people be?
Ben Franklin.
Really?
Da Vinci. And Hitler. There we go.
Okay, I think that you basically... Yes,
I'm not going to pick people that I actually know, Michael.
I mean, I wouldn't either. I'm already prepared to speak to them. There's no one that I've ever met that I would be like, well, that's not actually true.
Well, I know there's some people that I really don't want to have to deal with ever again, but
I'm not going to like put. I think I can. I think because you can't. I think I can genuinely, now that I think about my 3, because I have a slightly different tact. Like, okay, yes, I think it obviously. Hitler's in the conversation. I understand that. I understand. But like, you know, it seems to lack a bit of creativity to just be like,
it's a little obvious, you know.
Now, I've took this to a slightly different direction.
Sure.
So I would say someone that like pops into my head that I would just be like more relieved to not have to hear, I think. Gordon Ramsay. Like, I don't need to hear that. I just hate
like Simon Cowell
so much. These are the people, Stu, that I'm considering.
Okay.
Cal, if I actually find Cal way less
annoying.
Annoying. Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay. Okay, that's good.
I think number 2.
Croc Hunter.
No, I think number 2 would be, and this is not like, would be Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh.
And like, I don't even, this is the thing.
Wow. Shots fired.
I like a lot about Whoopi Goldberg.
Sure.
There's just something about the tone and tenor of the I can't stand when I hear her on the View. I just am like, this is why I find the hypothetical interesting. I don't dislike Whoopi Goldberg like writ large.
But certainly, you just don't want to have to deal with her in heaven.
I just don't have to deal with Whoopi. I'm sorry. Like there's a lot going on.
So you're not canceling Whoopi. You don't hate Whoopi. You're just like, I've had my fill.
I've had my fill of Whoopi Goldberg.
All right.
Yes.
Who's your third?
And my last one, I would say, because I do want to bring someone in from my own life.
Sure.
Was in 2009. I was covering CPAC. Back in the old days, back in the Tea Party days, when Ron Paul was out there winning straw polls, you know? And I covered it for this Canadian magazine, and I was not really pressed, but because it was so easy to get press
You
credits.
just gotta,
especially
you
back
just
then.
got,
I mean, they're handing them out.
Yeah.
My friend Steven, he came down and just said he was my photographer. Okay.
Sure.
So he could get in and get into all the press
Did
stuff.
he have a camera?
He got a tag that wasn't even his name. It was like Scott Steven was his name.
Cool.
And he did not have a camera. So every time we would introduce him as like the photographer for the piece, we would just say that the camera was just charging back in the hotel room for a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
And I managed, because again, it's hard to explain to people who see CPAC now and like how it becomes this major media story.
Sure.
This wasn't the case, even in 2009.
No, I mean, like,
and
the Chapo guys went to CPAC a couple times.
Right. And the other thing is, like, in that era, the podcasting thing hadn't made these people superstars or anything yet.
Sure.
Right. So, for example, like, I emailed S.E. Cupp and got an interview with her.
Uh-huh.
Like, why? What? How is that possible? Right. Anyways, all this to say that I had truly one of the worst hangovers of my entire life. After the first night of CPAC, where I remember vomiting in the hotel toilet and yelling to my friend that I'm puking ribbons. It like looked like ribbons. It was truly heinous.
Sure, that was good for your hypochondria.
And I realized that I was 5 minutes late for an interview. Okay. So I get clothes on, I run downstairs, much younger then. So, you can kind of cope with it.
Yeah, you can bounce back. Yeah.
And I managed to interview Stephen Baldwin,
the Baldwin brother.
Yes. Who I believe I got fixated on trying to get him to give me a single American military intervention in history that he thinks was incorrect.
And he couldn't do it.
I'm sure he could have, but he wouldn't.
He refused.
And then he just turned it to, he gave me a DVD of his like Christian skateboarding stuff.
Cool.
And tried to convert me on the spot.
Wow.
And it was so unbearable listening to him like try to convert me, that the idea of being in something approaching like an afterlife that he
and running into Stephen Baldwin, that
I simply could not bear it. So that's so yes, I would say Stephen Baldwin, Whoopi Goldberg, bless her heart, and definitely Ramsey was the first name that came to my mind. Actually, it was Ramsey, Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, those are good. And my three were what? Franklin, Da Vinci, and Hitler. Yeah, I guess let's talk about Hitler for Jeffrey Epstein.
Sure, why not?
All right, couple more segments and then we'll wrap it up. So favorite topics. Let's do a quick favorite topics. Do you have any favorite topics, Michael?
Yeah, I think the brief history of the afterlife.
Yeah.
I think was my favorite so far. I think what's come out of it is that the history driven ones.
Yeah. That
are kind of like your classic stew episodes.
Sure.
Let's call them. Really, really easy for me to just hang around for a bit,
Yeah.
And
you don't
just chime in.
You don't have to watch anything, or maybe sometimes you listen to a book, or and
then I just weigh in with nothing essentially, and it feels great. Waco was.
That one's great because it has your personal account of going to the Branch Davidian compound.
I think that's right, and one of the most popular episodes of all time, actually.
Yeah, it's one of all time. Yeah, I think it's definitely in our top 3 most popular episodes after the first episode and a movie that we forgot to mention that I hated, which is Don't Look Up, which for some reason is our most popular episode by a mile.
Let's not tell anybody else that.
Yeah, let's keep that on the down low. My favorite topics, I think I like the ones. I have Waco also. I put the episode about the Norse, about Ragnarok. That was that we did for I think episode 80. And I put Safe, the Todd Haynes film, which is just
interesting.
One of my favorite movies. I love that movie. I just taught it again. I teach it every semester for my environmental.
That didn't feel like a vintage Michael performance, the Safe episode, but
Well, I don't know. And then my top 2 though. Number 2, of course, Atlantis. Love the Atlantis series.
I will never understand. It's fitting that we'll never understand truly what happened to that episode.
Like,
Because I do
those
think-
2 episodes, both of which
Yeah.
are almost equally unpopular. They're both in the
It
bottom.
was an early history attempt.
No, it wasn't. It was like episode.
I'm just trying to make you feel better, Stu. I don't know what happened to it. I know.
I really don't know
Just
either.
to our listeners, this eats them up when we're not on the pod as well. This has come up.
I referred to I talk about the hated Atlantis episode,
Yeah.
and I sort of pound the table. And then, of course, my biggest, most favorite episode of all is Balloon Boy.
Well, of course. I mean, that's tied for number 1 with me too. I mean, that is
bar none least popular episode.
Yeah,
by a mile.
I think for me, Balloon Boy aside, which will always have a special place in my heart, I think the end of the world with Joe and Donald, the first debate. After the first debate episode, I think was my favorite.
That was a good one.
I guess in a way,
because we watched it together and we're just like, is this happening?
Is this happening? And it felt like, because we do something somewhat specific, it felt like the most podcasty episode.
Yeah.
The second one like that, I feel like the more recent one, I think the Sam Altman episode was very funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It felt a little more like a sort of regular podcast.
That one's already climbing into the upper echelons of listens.
Yeah, well, Altman's got clout.
But just for instance, like we hated I Am Legend. The I Am Legend episode already has more downloads than Balloon Boy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening out there, there's a really good chance that you have not yet heard the Balloon Boy episode,
which is episode 30, I think.
Yeah, so if you take anything from this hour or so, go check it out, and if you can,
it's episode 30.
I'm begging you,
episode 31.
Check out the Atlantis episodes too, so that Stu can finally move on.
Stu can sleep. Stu can go to rest.
So that Stu can sleep at night. Yeah.
So Balloon Boy is episode 31, Into the Great Wide Open. Maybe people hate Tom Petty. I thought having
I can't imagine.
And then
that was the reason.
36 and 37, Hail Atlantis Part 1 and Part 2. Hail Atlantis, a Donovan quote. I mean, people don't like Donovan.
Even, honestly, at this point, Stu's so beat up about this, guys. Like, just download it. You don't even have to listen. Just get the count up from a little bit.
No, the Atlantis ones are doing fine. They've actually surpassed some of our other. Well, no, that's not really true.
Okay, let's not go down this road again, Stu.
All right. So final segment.
The end of the world with Michael and Stu. This is the last segment.
Top 5 ways the world will end based on our research through 100 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I have 5 items and then 1 outlier. Number 5, some kind of pandemic, right? That a new, much worse COVID-like thing will come and kill everyone.
This is the only thing I wrote down. I think that this is now. I'm not quite sure what the segment is aiming to do.
Sure.
But the way I take it is, what is the most likely? Apocalyptic level catastrophe. And for me, after seeing the little soft launch in 2019, there's no doubt to me that it's a pandemic, man.
Because that'll just rip society to pieces.
I am not like going around still with a mask and stuff, although I feel like
I'm actually going to take your hypochondriac card away because of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I'm not quite sure how it happened, but like the handling of it, combined with like an aging population and diminishing immune systems,
plus backlash from right-wing grifters.
Yes, like anti-science. It feels like all of the elements are there for something that will just make COVID look like an absolute walk in the park.
I feel that. Number 4, I have AI kills everyone.
I think that AI could definitely get a pandemic going.
and I mean, it could also just immiserate so many that it causes society to crumble. And I think that's like fairly likely to happen.
Right. I think it's more likely that AI leads to catastrophe if it is allowed to continue to come to fruition. Than to not do so. So in that sense, it might be number 1, but it doesn't.
I don't necessarily mean it won't necessarily kill everyone in a Skynet
that's
scenario.
What I mean. Like pandemic versus AI, I think yes.
The fatalities
incredibly miserable and living even more meaningless lives than we currently do. I think AI is probably the front runner in that regard.
Number 3, I have just random asteroid strike. Now we haven't
sure.
done a lot of pods about this. We probably should, because it's end of the dinosaurs, stuff like that. We should cover we should cover that. What the current thinking on what brought that about is.
Yeah, that's
one of the things that could just happen without much warning, and we're just dead. I guess we did do Don't Look Up, the worst movie of all time that is about that. Number 2, I have my old favorite, nuclear war.
Yeah, nuclear war does also tie a little bit into the AI. We talked about this briefly on the podcast. That, like, AI could get more and more control over nuclear weapons.
That China is already working on AI targeting. I mean,
not to say that we aren't stupid enough to get ourselves into that trouble.
No. That we're doing it too, obviously. Like,
yes.
I mean, that is what Skynet in Terminator is all about, right? I mean, an AI that realizes, oh, humans are the enemies. What if I make them fight each other, right?
And, like, I think of the options, asteroid strike and nuclear war feel like the sort of the best case scenario, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the likelihood that we die immediately is highest, whereas the other ones, there'd be like really a period of sustained panic and maybe starvation or isolation,
which brings us to the number 1,
which is climate change, right? I mean, come on, it's got to be climate change. So many people are still in such denial about climate change that it's actually shocking. It's like, I've been alive for 44 years, right? I remember the 80s. Like, it was colder. Like it snowed more. Like, the blizzard of 96 was worse than the winter of 2025. Like just on and I realize this is not statistically meaningful. This is purely anecdotal. But it's like, once that anecdotal truth starts to be visible within a lifetime, and the latest news they're saying is, like, we're going to see, in the next 20 years, maybe up to 2 to 3 degrees centigrade warming. Like, that this timeline is, like, supercharged. For the longest time, the plan was, let's hold warming to 1.5 by the end of the century. And now people are being like, well, by 2045, like, 2 degrees warming is looking pretty likely. This is grim.
I mean, that is going to be, like, that's the big story.
People don't know they have no concept of the domino effect that this will set off.
Of the likelihood, because I remember when I first started doing stand-up, one of my worst early jokes was this joke about the reason I don't trust climate scientists is, like, it feels like they were like, oh yeah, I mean, like, 2200, this is going to be like 21, actually it could even be your great grandchildren. Actually, it could be your grandchildren. Your children might be impacted. Actually, climate change is it's starting on Thursday. You know what I mean? Like, and
that's pretty good. That's pretty good, actually.
And, like, that does feel basically like what has actually happened, right? And yet, as the warnings get more severe and the deadline approaches and gets pulled forward closer to us, it seems to actually have less impact.
I think it's kind of similar to COVID causing people to now believe less in vaccines. Yeah. Right. I mean,
that's the thing. Like, I think that even just selfishly, right, which is obviously not how we want to address most things on this podcast about our own 40 years and God willing, the 40 years to come. That, like, people like us are lined up to be in a really, really bad spot.
Oh yeah.
Like, soon.
Like, right? Social Security collapsing.
Just from Social Security, AI, employment, food security, supply chains, all that stuff. And then climate change, like, really starting to ramp up when we, like, are supposed to be, like, going to sleep at like 8, like, like, just think about, like, even just, I mean, this is going to make me really frightened because we are so old, but, like, in 18 years from now, right, I'm going to be 60.
Sure.
And, like, is it possible? Like, do you see a possibility for a world that can sustain me at 60 to have anything like the life that my father had at 60? Any chance? I don't see it, man.
Yeah. It's pretty grim. All right. Well, on that note,
it's been a great 100 episodes.
This has been the Bonanza Spectacular for the End of the World with Michael and Stu, which is the name of our show. Here's to 100 more episodes.
Absolutely.
And if you like the show, you can, of course, follow us on the podcatcher of your choice. And if you really like it, you can leave us a rating and or review on said podcatcher. We haven't gotten too many reviews lately, and a new review would really be a great way of commemorating the
we get the ball rolling.
The 100th episode. Say, hey, look, these guys made it to 100. I mean, no one thought.
And look, if AI does its thing,
that arrival episode. Oh, what if AI does?
If AI does its thing and it takes our voices, it takes our style, you guys might be treated to an infinite number of the End of the World with Michael and Stu episodes without us having to do anything.
Yeah, just on the Flintstones, on the Jetsons, on skateboarding, on parkour, just so many areas that our voices could be applied to that they have not yet touched. You can also follow us on Instagram at the End of the World WMS, where we post reels from the show each week. Next week, we're going to do a little bit of a departure, and that's because we're just going to do an episode on The Shining.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be easy. Watch a movie. We've got a lot to do coming up with the holidays. So I hope everyone has a great holiday as well, but we're a little too busy to...
No, The Shining's good. I just saw it in IMAX, actually, and if you're able to, I'd really recommend it. Really great experience. It was actually, believe it or not, Michael, it's the first IMAX movie I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that weird? And then you know what I did? I followed it up by seeing the new Avatar on IMAX on Friday.
I have never seen 1 second of any Avatar movie.
Oh, really? Well, we'll have to do Avatar at some point. I mean, it's pretty apocalyptic. The new one
say nothing of what it did to the culture.
Well, I don't think it did anything to the culture.
No, it is interesting. We'll talk
about
that.
That's kind of the knock on it, right?
It's crazy. It does all these numbers and no one cares about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the third one, if you saw the second one, the third one is the same movie, basically. So
done to hear it.
Visually spectacular, but a little redundant. All right. So Shining next week, the Kubrick movie, not the awful Stephen King novel. And until then, you can sense another enemy slotting into
for the next 100, yeah.
Yeah. Until then, this has been the End of the World, Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu, and we will talk to you real soon. My